What I see we have here today, a couple of messages, is really, from what I can see, asking those who actually do tend to follow their spiritual path as like a guidepost of effort. It's it's saying to be cognizant of your spirituality and actually acknowledge the efforts that you're putting into your chosen path of travel. You know what I'm saying? To actually choose, with the spirituality studies and whatever people are considering new age, we're not learning anything new. For the most part, we're remembering what we already know on a soulful level. But it doesn't just come like, it doesn't just come back to you. You actually do have to study. I was reading in a book and it said something that resonated, and it was really, simple. No matter how many past lives you lived, when you come into this life, you still have to learn the alphabet and still learn how to read. So it's not, everything is not just going to come natural. There's parts of you that have to actually work to strengthen that muscle, to get better with what it is that you're on and what you're following. Even if it is your own inner urges and your own inner spirits calling you to something specific, put in a little more effort towards embracing that, studying that, practicing that, on a daily, quite frequently, consistently. The artist way card of the day, the arts way card of the day is luxury of space. And it says creative living requires the luxury of space for ourselves, even if all we manage to carve out is one special bookshelf and a windowsill that is ours. So what you do in your privacy, make sure that it counts, make sure that it's for you. And again, we have this purple, this deep, deep purple. So this is a day where we can really reflect. No matter what we're doing, like, make sure that you're actually taking the time to recognize the spirituality in everything you're doing, not just if it's meditation, not just if it's going to the grocery store or whatever. Make sure that you can find a way that it makes sense towards the efforts that you're actually putting into your spiritual path. So when you go to the store and you have all these different choices, the things that you're choosing on a outward level, the things that you're choosing for yourself to put inside of yourself is no different than something you may intake through reading or viewing or having a conversation. So you can put it in that context. That's something that relates to the spirit, because you're in a place of sustenance. So you're acquiring things that are going to nurture you, that are going to feed you, that are going to give you energy, that you'll be comfortable eating, that you'll feel better after eating, hopefully so. You know what I mean? So this is all a part of that. Even when it comes to reading, what are you actually ingesting? When you're watching something, how is it actually relating to where you're headed and what you're doing? Some people have no intention to align those types of things with their spiritual path or anything. They consider it completely separate and don't they don't find any resonance in one thing to the other, and they don't know that they're interconnected. They don't know that they reflect outwardly what's happening inwardly. Like, no cognizance of it. But with this here, it says the army, the point of convergence. By design, the need for leadership to guide and order society. Established proven patterns lead us into the future. The administrator, the general, the abdicator, the anarchist, the Democrat, the authoritarian, the role of the self, the elected leader. There's something that you do better than anyone you know, something that you actually, I mean, you're going to be known for it. It's just your thing. And it could be something that you don't even, you may not even put significance on as something hyper important or anything like that. But it's saying that everyone has authority. In my eyes, everyone has authority in a specific way. Like, there are certain things that I'm not good at that somebody else may be very good at. And it doesn't rely on intellect. It doesn't rely on, being learned. It's something that they do naturally do. And again, that could relate to how that past life information comes through. A person could have been a scholar in the past life, but this lifetime they have dyslexia or they don't have the same interest to read, to learn, or do those types of things. But when it comes down to it, they have a natural knack for, I don't know, curating or being able to edit or having some type of talent related to their past life, but they haven't been working at it. It's just something that they can do, but it could be better. Still better than me at it, but it's just something that they have a natural inclination towards versus someone who has to work twice as hard to gain that spiritual momentum in that specific way. So you have some, even with the readers here on YouTube, everybody has their own specific niche. Even with rappers, they have their own flow, their own design. And that's the same way that it just translates through everything. You're not going to have two NASCAR racers that drive the exact same, that pull into the pit to get their tires changed, or they're not going to gas up in the same manner. Some people do it mid-race. Some people do it towards the end of their tank capacity or whatever. So it's always going to be your own personal way of doing it. But the luxury of space, when you actually take that time to acknowledge the stuff that you do on a daily basis and find the divinity in it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're washing the damn dishes or vacuuming the floor. Somebody who is religious can say cleanliness is next to godliness. And this puts a religious spin or significance towards what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? You could be washing the dishes and say, okay, well, this is a part of my cleansing. This is a part of me washing off yesterday's worry or this problem that's on my mind. And every dish is a different thing that you have to tackle, that you have to deal with. And once you've washed it, all it has to do is manifest in the physical. You've taken care of it on a figurative aspect, and you can also, now you already have the momentum, you already have the thought process that it's done. And it's done in the name of you getting closer to handling the things you need to handle, having the endurance to do it, having the motivation, the confidence. Because proverbially, even if it was, represented through something else entirely, you have the confirmation that you've done it, that it's handled. So when you walk into the situation to handle it, now you have just a little bit more push from yourself versus, other people confirming or denying what you got going on. Crossing something off your to-do list in a figurative way can help you in the literal way. Even if that's you finishing a book. You bought a book, you haven't quite finished it. Think about books and The things that we begin and put down, we put them down because either we're not wholeheartedly interested spiritually. It could be a procrastination. It could be that you're not ready for the completion of that thing, or for what lesson that brings to you. If that makes sense. Having bought a book in 2017 and I didn't get the gist of it, I held it and held on to it, and I ended up picking it back up in 2020 or 2019, end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Oh, my bad. And the shit was immense. It was profound. You know, it's called Phi, and it was speaking about the brain, and it really started to get into the neurological aspects, and told a very detailed but comical story about how without certain parts of the brain, certain things don't function within the body, but that you still have a soul, that you still can do, that you still can feel, that you can still, it was just breaking it down in a way where science met metaphysics, or met the spiritual aspect of things. And when I first began reading it, I would read 3 pages and realize I didn't retain not one fucking thing. So subconsciously, my mind took it in, even led me towards neuropathy and studying NLP and other things related to the mind, but I had no real recollection of it until it was time for me to understand the message that was coming through the text. Until I was ready and I was at a place where I could actually understand and resonate with the material, I couldn't digest the book. I couldn't read the book. It was really just lost on me. So, luxury of space. Make sure that you're actually doing stuff for you and not just everything out of duty. Because it's easy to resent your day-to-day activities, or even to blame your day-to-day activities that you do out of duty on why you're not closer to yourself, or why you're not feeling fulfilled spiritually, or why you're not taking charge of the part of life that only you can live. You know what I'm saying? In that moment of loneliness, or that moment of aloneness, which are two different things. You can be alone and not lonely as long as you like who you're around, which is your damn self. So this is asking you to find a way to lead in that regard. But this is also what will make you a better leader. You have to look at your ability to work in a capacity, how you are when you are alone, when you work alone, versus when you work in a group, in a network. Like, some people are more comfortable being introverted and working alone and taking their time and not having to answer to anyone, or not having to rely on anyone's cooperation in order to get their job done, or to do a project, or what have you. And then other people thrive in those types of environments. And I really feel like it's asking you to take a look at the other side of things and try it in a different way. Get your feel for it, even if it makes you uncomfortable. That's a good thing. That's showing, that discomfort is showing you where your comfort zone was and how you're moving out of it. And that's what helps you expand. But it's asking you to have this leader governing type of authority when it comes to yourself, when it comes to your spirituality, when it comes to your creativity, because you got shit to do. I'm not really gonna harp on purpose, but more so passion. Like, is it constructive? Does it actually bring you benefit? Because if not, you're just wasting, you're wasting energy. You're not wasting time per se. You could be wasting time, you could be wasting energy, but What is the way that you can actually use your leadership and your creativity, right? Your gift, your knack, your niche, whatever. In what way can you actually implement the shit and apply it to where you can be that authority, where people are coming to you for what it is you do? So, I hope that helps. It says elected leader. I feel like this is someone sees you though. Someone sees you, what you do, and they kind of put you in this position. It could be a group of friends, it could be coworkers, it could be, hell, your parents or family members or whatever. There's something that you do that aligns with your spirituality, whether you're conscious of it or not. And it's dealing with your creative pursuits. If you make enough time for them, you'll be recognized, you'll be regarded for that thing, because it's about the elected leader. You can elect yourself to lead some shit and not be in a position to, or not actually be the person fit for it. But if others are, hopefully it's not a false assignment, like they're assigning something to you that doesn't naturally fit you. But for the most part, what people don't realize is that other people can sense your potential just like you can sense it in others. And you'll have this feeling like, damn, this person is capable, this person is able, this person, is gonna do great things in their life. They're very positive, and they're gonna be successful. You can feel those types of things coming off of people. So the energy that you're exuding is actually gonna be felt too. It's gonna be picked up spiritually by another person. So even still, you can lead in a way that honors your divinity and honors your actual purpose. You don't even have to know what the fucking purpose is. It's a different feeling that you're going to get. It could be warm. It could be bright. It could be, you know what I mean? You can assign any moniker you want to that type of feeling, elation, joy. But there's there's something that you do when you procrastinate that you should do for the rest of your fucking life. And I'll just put it like that. You use it to distract you from what you should be doing, if that makes sense. Take a look at that thing a little more closely. There's a reason why you do it. If it's a habit or if it's a bad habit, well, that's muscle memory. That's a physical feeling, not necessarily an emotional one, but it's showing you interest in a particular way, in a particular area that you could have authority in, that you can very well transcend, that you can very well use from being a disadvantage to an advantage, or from using as a crutch to a pillar to stand on, or a platform to stand on, if that makes sense.